guys. I hope everybody is having a great night. We are talking with Cody about hunting and fishing. He is going to start his own YouTube channel.
You've been saying that for a while.
Yes, but we're kind of doing this kind of intro video on what are some of the techniques that you use when you are hunting? What are some of the basic skill things that everybody needs to know if they are starting out hunting, as we're in bow season right now, as we're getting ready to go into rifle season? What are some of the basic things that a new hunter or hunters need to learn for hunter safety, or just some basic tips and tricks?
I'd say that if you are a newer hunter and you plan on using a rifle or black powder method, you should definitely, safety first people, get your hunter safety card. Go through that rifle education. Make sure you understand how your weapons work. No accidents. Be sure to be safe. So get that done first of all.
Okay. Number 1, hunter safety course. Let's see. Hey Jessica, we are doing good. We're just talking about some hunting and fishing with you tonight, just to kind of get Cody's feet wet as far as YouTube goes and kind of how live stream goes, and talking about something that he enjoys. So you might learn some tips and tricks, and if you're a hunter or huntress yourself, then you'll know this and ride along with us. So what is your second tip for hunting? What kind of deodorizer do you use?
Oh, I think what is it? You've washed as many clothes as I have for me. What is it? Dead Downwind?
Mm-hmm.
Dead Downwind deodorizer,
yes.
Which is you wash your clothes in it.
In an orange bottle, I believe.
Yeah, an orange bottle. You can find it at Walmart. You can find it just about anywhere that sells any type of outdoor stuff.
Also, this new one I haven't got for you, but I want you to try it. They sell it at Atwoods, and it is a bar soap, and it is also for hunting. It's kind of like that one soap that I got you, but it is for hunting. So, okay, what's a third tip or trick?
Third tip or trick?
Like, how do you... tell them some of the things you do when you leave the house.
Okay, so usually what I do is wake up about 4:50, go in, take a shower, get my deodorizers on. Me, I'm a little crazy. I leave my boots, all of my hunting stuff is in a bag with decenter, is that a word? Decenter? Deodorizer? Yeah, deodorizers. That sounds a lot better. Deodorizer in a bag, in a big duffel bag, so all my clothes go in that. So usually just put on some street clothes, like some jeans and my tennis shoes or something, and I have my hunting gear in my bag, and then my bow or my rifle in the pickup. So I go out there and I swap my clothes around that way. My hunting clothes actually have nothing to do with the outside world scent, like someone scented candles or perfumes, makeup, or because the deer can smell like 5 times better than a bloodhound. Yeah. Yeah, they're crazy like that. They're crazy.
Okay, and then keep going.
So I get in my stand and, well, I take it back. Usually on my way out to the hunting land, I'll stop off at the convenience store, get a nice breakfast, get some like a cinnamon roll or some biscuits and gravy and a coffee, and then go out there and get on my 4-wheeler and ride out to my stand in 20-degree weather, and it's cold, and gotta be sure to wear all my hunter safety orange if it's rifle season, or my camo and stuff when it's bow hunting.
So when do you put corn out? When is a good tip to put corn out?
Well, most states don't allow. Some states don't allow you to bait deer, but since it is Oklahoma, we are allowed to do baiting here. So I like to put about 2 sacks corn and bait them with that, and they have about 2 or 3 days to eat on that. So usually when I'm out there, they got corn on the ground.
So prior to you going out and hunting, you make sure that they have plenty of corn and they kind of know the area.
Yes.
Right. And prior to you going hunting, if you go out there and you do lay corn, you're pretty quiet, right? You don't want to just disturb the area too much if you have.
Oh yeah, they're very sensitive on what goes on in there. It's like their bedroom. They know what's going on there. They know if something new's there, they can recognize. I think it's 12 smells at any given point in time. That's how their olfactory sensors work. Yeah, they have crazy smell. Their eyesight's really good, and they have excellent hearing. So anytime you're going out there, you want to be quiet. Some people even recommend you change your cameras, put corn out with rubber gloves.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Well, there you guys go.
Your scent's very important when you're hunting. One way you can beat that is when you are still hunting, like we do in Oklahoma, is you play the wind. You always want the wind into your face and know the direction that the deer are coming. So if they're coming from the south, you definitely don't want to be hunting a wind direction that's blowing to them. You want it in your face to where you're looking, or where they will be coming.
So you want to stay out of their smell ratio.
You don't want to be in their wind drift.
Well, okay. So, when is the best time of year to catch the big bucks? When do you find the best time of year? When is your prime time to go hunting?
In Oklahoma, that is right around Thanksgiving time, because that's when the deers are going into estrus. It's mating time for them, so this pheromones that they put off will really pull that big guy out and make him act stupid, because they are very smart. If they feel like they're being pressured during the day, they will lock down and do all their activity at night. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, yes, I know these things, you guys, because I've been with him for so long. I know his daily routine, but some of you guys don't know and might be interested in going hunting and kind of would like some tips and tricks on how to do it. So, all right, what about when you get the big buck? What do you do? How describe what it feels like when you see your buck, when you pull back your bow, because he's a big bow hunter. He likes to bow hunt, so kind of describe what that's like.
It is a adrenaline rush. It's
rush.
Something that, for me, is almost incomparable to hunt. Wake up days and weeks at a time at 4 o'clock in the morning, go out there and sit all day long in the freezing cold, rainy, snowy conditions, and then when it finally happens and you see it coming, it's kind of like a crash in slow motion. You don't know how it's going to turn out. You just know that this is what you've been waiting for. And then once you get it on the ground, then it's a great relief.
So what's the main thing? When you shoot your deer, what's your tips and tricks on catching him if he doesn't drop?
If he doesn't, shot placement. The practice makes perfect. You always want, anytime you're shooting any kind, black powder, rifle, bow, crossbow, longbow, compound, anything like that, you want to be sure that your equipment is the best that it can be. You want to put 100% your best effort into everything that you touch out there, because there's so many factors out there that can fail for you. So if you can put your hands on it and you can change the outcome of it, then you need to do your utmost to that. So,
tell them what kind of arrows you use and broadheads you use.
Okay, well, oh babe, that's we're getting out there. There's so much stuff. But for me, my gear, start off with my bow. It's a Hoyt Rampage XT. It's a little older. I got it probably
2010?
No, it was during my wrecks. It was after my wreck. So I was 12. So I've had it for about 7 years now. It's a good bow. It's not a speed bow. It's just your basic plain hunting bow made by Hoyt. I really enjoy it. Then as far as my my arrows, I'm using just gold tip arrows. You can get those at Walmart, I believe, and they're pretty cost-effective arrows. No need to break the bank on something. Like I said, practice makes perfect. If you're on a budget and you practice, then you can accomplish just about anything you want to.
Well, those are some good tips and tricks. what about, let's see, what have we gone through? We've gone through the whole beginning process. Okay, so what about gutting your deer? What are some tips and tricks when you're gutting the deer, when you find your deer?
When you find your deer, so you make the shot, you give it a little bit. If you're confident in your shot, sometimes I've been fortunate enough to watch the deer go down and die of peaceful death. Everybody's always worried, well, doesn't it hurt? Well, this might ruffle some feathers out there, but an animal isn't thinking like a human being. It's not thinking, oh, my wife, or oh, my husband, my wife and kids, how are they gonna make it without me? They don't think about that. They think about
Instinct.
It's their instinct, just like getting chased by a coyote or a tiger or something like that. They don't understand what's going on. That's why you practice your shot placement, and your equipment always has to be in check to make that humane shot.
Yeah.
That is the best thing for a hunter to do, is practice that shot,
Yeah.
make a humane kill.
Yeah.
And if it's a humane kill, then there's been several hours and studies of research that's gone into it. If you shoot right behind the shoulder blade and you go into both lungs, their blood pressure drops and they go to sleep. That's what it's comparable to.
Well, see.
They feel
They would probably pass out.
They pass out and they just get sleepy. Their blood pressure drops. And it's the best method. That's why you always practice. That's the best thing I can tell you.
Well, you guys, you heard it here. What about gutting deer?
Gutting the deer. Okay. Everybody, some people will pull out a big old Bowie knife that's 18 inches long. That's completely unnecessary. I use a fixed blade pocket knife, thanks to my beautiful wife. It's probably about 4 inches long, about like that. The only thing that needs to be long enough is to break the chest plate in order to get up there and get the internals up in the high chest area. If you don't, then you can make do with a simple, basic, sharp pocket knife with a blade about the size of your pinky. I think my pinky's about probably 2.5 inches or so. I have gut deer with a pocket knife that small. So, you want me to go into detail?
Yeah, just tell them. Warning, graphic content about deer.
It won't be graphic.
Well,
It's to some people, maybe.
I mean, you gotta be careful.
So, like all animals, the deer have hide. So, you recover your deer. What I do is I pull them onto the four-wheeler. I take them out to a spot that's not going to hurt any animals. The coyotes can feed on the remains because that's a circle of life. That's how it happens. Then you just start at you pull away the hair, and then you get underneath the tissue, and you cut down towards the groin, and then in the belly region you have a thin layer of fat. So you got to pull it, and then you insert the blade, and then you get enough wiggle room for a finger. And then what you do is you take your blade, say this is the tip of the blade, and you put your finger right here, and you slide it down in there, and your finger's in there, and the tip, you kind of protect the tip of the knife with your finger so you don't disperse any of the internals within the internals, like the guts and the food that they ate before. So you run it like a zipper. You run it like a zipper. You go straight down, and it's a real easy process. So once you get that open, you'll have to cut a little bit through some belly muscle and stuff like that. So you got it opened up, and then basically you just cut and pull, cut and pull, cut and pull, and that's really. And then you got to reach up into the cavity, and then you got to cut out all the stuff in the back of the stomach, and then if you can, you kind of dump it over and get the rest of the stuff out, and then we're loaded on the four-wheeler. We bring the animal home. We wash the inside out with a water hose. Then some people in some regions have to clean the deer after they finish the harvest. They have to skin it and get the meat, and then chill it in a cooler or the freezer.
We hang ours.
We hang ours because by the time hunting season rolls around in Oklahoma, with the time that I start deciding to go hunting, it's sometimes gets right out 38 degrees, right at 35 degrees. It gets getting cold, so we let the meat chill, and we'll let it sit for a day or so, and then
bleed it out real good.
Go out there, and then we'll skin it up and bring it in, and we'll get a couple pots and big bowls and fillet it out for what we want: steaks, roasts, cut it up into chunks for stew.
I got a really good deer recipe for some deer jalapeno poppers.
Really?
Yeah, you take deer steak chunks, put them in jalapeno poppers, wrap bacon around them.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
And then we'll grind up what we want for hamburger meat or jerky. That's really, we do there's some families that I'll take care of, and I'll take a doe and take care of them for the less fortunate that can't afford to buy the amount of meat that a wild deer can provide.
And a lot of people that we do give deer meat to, they love deer meat. They just don't go hunting, or they don't have the land to go hunting on, or they've loved it, but they can't shoot a deer, or they'll just, there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of people that don't like deer meat. A lot of people are like, I don't like that taste. But I actually love the taste. I didn't grow up on it. I mean, I did kind of, because my brothers hunted their whole life, and we would get deer meat, but my mom never liked it. But I loved it. Cody's grown up on deer meat. Do you guys hunt antelope and elk in Oklahoma? We don't have any. Do we have any elk in Oklahoma?
Yeah, we have a few elk.
A few.
There's a guy that he owns a flowback company, the EFS guy. He had Brian Austin. He's a.
But are they native here?
Are they native here?
I say few.
I say a few because
not enough to hunt.
If you go a few hours to the northwest to Colorado,
we'll make some jerky, you guys, and we'll have some jerky giveaways, and I'll send out some jerky samples for you guys of deer meat. We got 3 people in here. Awesome. Yeah, and let's tell them how we do our jerky.
We bought a moderately priced grinder from Amazon. Do you remember the brand? We paid $130 for it? About $120, $130?
$134, I believe.
About $134, and it's a good grinder. I think it'll do, I can't remember how many pounds an hour.
Yeah,
it's got to be like 50 pounds an hour. It's a good grinder.
I think that would be a good idea, guys. If you guys would like some of our jerky that we do this summer, we'll do little sample packets out. When I get to a certain amount of subscribers, I'm trying to get my subscribers, but my loyal subscribers, though, I'll just send you guys some jerky. You guys have been there from the beginning. I mean, y'all need some rewards for hanging in there with me. I mean, you're helping my channel grow. So, how do we do our, we got the grinder.
So grind it up. We take what we want. The steak, we take a roast, cut it up into chunks, into strips probably about 8 inches long, about 2 inches wide or so. Then we just drop it in there, grinds it up, and shoots it out, and you're the one that seasons it.
Okay, so this is what I usually do. I used to work at a barbecue place, and I learned a little bit of his tips and tricks on how to season really well. So what I do is I put paprika, cayenne pepper, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, brown sugar, regular sugar, tiny bit of mustard, and Worcestershire sauce. What else?
Liquid smoke.
Tiny bit of liquid smoke. I think that's it. I think that's everything. I put everything in a great big old Ziploc bag. But before I do that, though, to help with the real strong gaminess of the meat, I usually soak the meat in buttermilk or milk for 24 hours. I usually always try to do that. And it also helps get the excess blood out of it, too. It helps get that blood that's really deep in the meat, kind of soaks it out. And it also helps with the gamey taste, like that real wild gamey taste that can be in some deer. And some people can't stand that taste. But I think it's really good after it soaks in buttermilk. You don't taste it at all. And you just have really pure beef. Or not beef, but venison. That's venison, right? It's venison.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
Wild game?
I'm like, wait a minute, I'm right? What are some of the comments? Awesome. Yes, and then after we do that, we either put it in that sauce into the ground hamburger meat that we have, or we put it into the strips of beef that we do for jerky, and then we let that marinate 24 to 48 hours depending on how flavorful we want our jerky. If we really want our jerky flavorful, I would say put it in Wednesday and make jerky Friday night. I would say put jerky on Friday night, get the house smelling good. Saturday morning you wake up, it's awesome. How many deer do you harvest each year?
I'd say we do at least one for a family.
What's the Oklahoma limit?
The Oklahoma limit is 5. You can get between archery, black powder, and rifle. You can take 2 bucks with those 3 methods, and then you get to take 2 does. But then if you have children, then you can take, there's antler day, and then there's antlerless day. So if Betty decides to go, or if we decide to have another child or whenever,
yeah,
then there can be up to 5, 6, 7, 8 per household.
That's a lot. That's a lot of meat.
That's a lot of meat. That is a lot of meat.
How much would you say we pull off of a buck and a doe?
Just off of a fully matured 5.5-year-old deer. 60 pounds.
Yeah.
60 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
And that lasts us, because we took 2 deer last year, and we're still eating on it.
Yeah.
We're still eating on it.
Yeah, so that would be great, you guys. That would be, our freezer is full. We usually always wind up giving deer meat away anyway. So, definitely.
But we eat our fair share of it.
Yeah, we do.
We eat our fair share of it.
We love deer meat. Like, I make deer stew, deer
steaks,
jerky,
deer
steaks, deer roast, deer fajitas. We had, we gave
chili.
What was that? What did Dina make? Caribbean. What did she make?
Tacos.
Cuban tacos. She made Cuban tacos with deer meat, and they were so good. Oh, they were so good. Definitely, you guys. If you haven't tried deer meat, go out and try it. Go get your hunting license and go give it a try.
Here's the deal with deer meat, though. Another big reason why you need to practice with your equipment is, say you're out deer hunting and you're bow hunting and you make a not so great of a shot on the animal. It happens. If you hunt, this happens to you. So it's up to us as hunters to be humane and take care of the animals that we have. So you always practice. But it does happen, unfortunately. I'm guilty of it.
It gets stressed.
The animal does get stressed, and the amount of stress that is put on the animal when it's in its last few moments has a big outcome on how well your meat tastes.
Thank you so much.
So that's another big reason.
Yeah, that's
to always practice.
Yeah, and that's another thing, because it will affect the meat. Like, if you have a really, really tough meat, it's because the deer probably was not shot properly and had to stress, or was running for a long period of time, panicking.
And the older the animal gets to, the older and the more hormones that an animal has, the more gamey it will. I don't taste it personally. I've eaten deer since I was old enough to eat meat.
I can tell if it's like a doe is almost like, the doe meat is like for newcomers just getting into deer meat. It would
probably be best.
Doe meat is the best way to go.
But if your neighbor or you decide to take and go out there and shoot a fully matured 4.5, 5.5-year-old buck, and then you've never had the deer meat before, then you will definitely taste a little bit of game.
Mange.
You have to worry about mange.
Mange isn't very. You have to worry about mange mites, but you can usually tell if an animal here has that.
The predators in Oklahoma will get mange, like the coyotes and stuff, because coyotes can get a little scroungy.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's usually not what we have to worry about with deer. I've never seen a deer with mange.
No, I
in
never
fact.
have. No.
No,
We've been
for dogs actually. Like
it's
dogs
more
here
for
get
coyotes.
dogs here get mange really bad. Like mange mites are bad for dogs, but not for deer at all.
No, our deer population in Oklahoma is really healthy.
Yeah,
we got a good
healthy.
population.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's extensive research done by all the biologists, the wildlife department. They do a great job out here in Oklahoma.
What would you say is a good tip to keeping ticks off of you while you are hunting? What's one of your tricks?
It's not so much hunting, because usually by the time I go hunting, it's pretty chilly.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. I worry about ticks.
But in the early season, it's mosquitoes.
Yeah, and I got you a mosquito net. I got him a mosquito net that he puts over his face. It's like a face shield, and that way the bugs aren't like yipping at him constantly when he's trying to hunt. What else is something else? Okay, now that we've talked about hunting for a little bit, let's talk about fishing. Let's transition into fishing. So, Mr. Finley.
We're with you tonight asking on your bass fisherman, what is your number one trick to getting some of your biggest and baddest fish?
Oh man, usually a lot of it depends on how the weather's acting.
Okay, so climate has a lot to do with it.
Here's the biggest one I've caught this year. If you
look at that.
folks at
Can y'all
home
see that? Let's see
can
if we
see
can.
that.
Let's see if we can focus on it. Here, let's focus. Take it over. There we go. Can we see that? Can y'all see that? Maybe if you turn the brightness down on your phone.
Turn the brightness down?
Yeah, just a tad. See if we can see it. There we go.
There we go.
So that was a pretty big one. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sorry, we had to turn off the lights so you guys could see. But yes, he does love to bass fish. That's one of his things that he loves to do. So climate is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
for
climate
fishing.
is. Yeah, usually what you're like in the spring, in the early spring before the spawn. Usually them big females are, because they spend so much energy when they are when they're mating and they're spawning and stuff. They use up so much energy, so before they do this, they like to get fat and they like to gorge themselves on food to store up energy, because that's what fat is. Fat is stored energy.
Yeah.
So they are really voracious eaters. They eat just about anything that moves where they can fit in their mouth. So really good baits that work for the springtime are things that look like bait fish, like spinner baits, crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, jigs with crawl trailers, or
These guys, these fishes.
what is that?
It's a fish. Don't touch it.
Oh,
This
okay.
is supposed to be the hook. There's the pole in the water and the fisherman's
Okay.
Don't judge me.
So that would be spring, and then in the summer when the water starts getting warm, the fish are kind of like most everybody. Nobody wants to do much when it's hot outside, which would be their water or air.
Yes.
So you would want to use a slower moving bait,
So like
something that you can crawl on the bottom like a jig, or something that is heavy enough to get down in that deeper water, which would be where the cooler water is.
And they swim down in the fishes. What's that song? And they swam all over the dam. Free little fishes in the...
You know that little song?
No, I don't know.
And they swam all over the dam. Y'all know that song? Boop boop chitty bottom bottom choo. Shoot shoot chitty bottom bottom choo.
I know.
Shoot shoot chitty
It's not
bottom bottom choo. And they swam all over the dam. I don't know. I can't remember if that's the song or
It's
not.
got to catch you, little too.
If y'all know that song, leave a comment down below what it is. I don't know what that song is. It goes shoot wabba bottom bottom choo. I don't even know how it goes. I think that's how it goes.
Well, you got a solid melody going.
I don't know where that went from my brain. That come from like some part of my brain. So, what is the scariest story you've got about hunting? What's the scariest thing that's happened to you while by hunting, and then what's the scariest thing that's happened to you with fishing? Hunting wise, like, could be happening like when going hunting, something happened.
Getting my 4-wheeler stuck going across the river in sub-zero temperatures, and then getting stuck, and then having to pull my 4-wheeler out, being in ice cold water from my head to my feet, getting my 4-wheeler out, making it back to the pickup, and so cold outside that my clothes are frozen solid.
Yeah.
Remember that day?
Yeah, that was pretty scary. He came home and he had no heater in his pickup, might I add. This is how bad it was. He didn't have a heater in his pickup. He had butt heater. That's all you had was heated seats.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that he had was heated seats.
And it took me solid several hours to get warm.
Yeah, he got home and he had icicles literally hanging off of him. I'm not kidding you. It was scary. I was so worried. He had icicles hanging off him. He had to take a shower, and he was in there for like an hour because he was so cold. He could have got hypothermia. You could have died.
I think I did get hypothermia.
Yeah, you probably did. You come home, you freeze. You were like Tigger and Pooh. Betty is at her grandma's house right now. My parents, or my mother's, and my grandmother, they're watching her this evening for just a little bit. We're going to go get her here in a minute. We just wanted a little Friday night alone to ourselves, and we decided to do a live and talk about hunting and fishing.
Hunting and fishing.
Since you're wanting to start your YouTube. So, you guys, if Cody did start a YouTube channel, which he's going to, but he would take you guys along with him, and he would, like, take you up in a tree and kind of show you what it's like to be in the wilderness, what it's like to hunt. If he could, like, do some videos of you drawing back your bow. I'd like to get you a GoPro. I really want to get him a GoPro. That way he can put it on his bow and have a bow mount where he just
pew, pew, pew,
pew, pew, pew, pew. So, what are some movies that you guys are excited to see? Let's flip the script. What are some movies you guys are excited to see? Who all has seen The Joker? How many people have gone out and seen The Joker? Yeah, it's really neat when he hunts. I love getting the phone calls that he got him a buck, because he's always like so happy. It's like, I got it! I found him too!
Catching deer.
Catching deers.
Catching deer.
I call it catching deers. He hates it. He hates it because I call it catching deers.
I don't hate it. I think it's cute.
Because I've always called it catching deers.
Catching deers.
I've always called it that.
I think it's cute.
We'll hunt the deer. Well, you guys, we've been on here for 33 minutes. Him doing his talking about his hunting and fishing. Later on, yeah, the Joker is definitely go see it. Definitely go see it. It brings a total light on mental health. And poor Arthur, he has this. There's one part that'll really pull at your heartstrings. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's crazy. It's raining here. Well, I'm gonna flip the camera around real quick. It's raining. It's cold rain. It's a cold
42
rainy
degrees.
night on a Friday. Yeah. What you doing? You and Baby time filming yet?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, let's turn it around. Let's turn that around. My hair's growing, y'all. It's growing. Slowly but surely. I haven't messed with it. I haven't dyed it. I haven't done anything to it. It's growing. It's getting there. This side's longer than the other side. I've come to terms with that. It's alright. Some broke off the last time I tried to dye it, and it needs to heal. That's what I've been trying to do. It's okay. It'll heal. It's getting there. Time heals all things, right? Oh, want to bring this up. Why I have you guys on here? So, if you guys are subscribed to Zab Girl, thank you so much. It's growing. It's getting there. You guys go check out. Some people are saying, oh, it's new footage, but It's a new light on some old footage. I don't want to cut it. I'm not going to cut it. I don't want to cut it. It's just this side's kind of broke off and it's healing and it's getting there. This side's long. This is my long side. I like to show this side. It's doing my natural ombre. Because I don't know if you guys can see, but I matched my natural hair color pretty well to what I dyed it to. So it is cold. It is cold. Cold, wet, and rainy. That's what it is. Anyway, Zav Girl, she posted a video about a person walking behind the Watts house. And it puts a new light because there's some cars back behind there. And it makes you wonder if these people were involved. It wasn't the first day that they were there. It was when they were going to collect the scents for the shoes. She was looking for some smell. And you look at Chris, look outside, and the cop's like, "What are you looking at, dude?" And he's like, "You know, what are you looking at?" And the cop catches him looking at him. And it was like, okay, so definitely a new take for the people that think that there was other people involved. Those houses back there, if there was nobody that lives in them, what if they got their little crap together over there? I said those dogs hid over there. They were going crazy by that construction site back in that area. Why were they going nuts for if there wasn't anything over there? And now people are going, oh, why was there a car and a truck over there? Whose red car is that? Whose red car is that? Could it possibly be? I know people are like so sick of the speculation, but you gotta have some theories out there because there's some fact in some stuff. You never know. What if that's Jamie Watts' car? What if she helped Nicole Kessinger? What if, all this crap with the writer and Jamie and all this other stuff, what if it's just a big shikam blah blah and that she knows something? The Wattses have always put Shanann in a bad light. I'm sorry. They have never put her in a good light. I don't care about them going to the graveside and taking a picture. That was, in my opinion, that was ridiculous. That was for publicity to show that, oh, we went to Shanann's grave, now we don't have to go back anymore. I mean, they didn't even go to their grandchildren's funeral. Okay, let's remember that. And then they're gonna call Nico whatever you want to call Nico. He was a baby. He was a human life. Yeah. That really sickened me. It really sickened me that they're gonna post a picture of them standing at Shanann's grave, but not go to the funerals. You know what I'm saying? Hello, how are you guys doing tonight? Thank you guys so much for joining. It's starting to rain a little bit more. I'll show you. The raindrops keep falling on the truck. It's so late that I really don't give a la 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 la. You thought I was gonna say something, didn't you? Raindrops keep falling on my truck. They keep falling. Yeah, the Watts case is just like a never-ending circus. And all the people that are involved in it and do make videos over the Watts case are crazed by this. I know. And some of the questions regarding whether and when Shanann, lost the baby. That, there's some things that we don't know and we won't ever know. And that's one of them. We won't know when she exactly lost the child. I was in the live the other night. I just didn't say anything. It was right after the live. I rewatched it right after the live. And when the whole J for Justice, Jewels of Thought thing was going down, listen, there was a lot of different stories and a lot of different speculatory crap going on about what happened, who pissed who off, why somebody said something. Yes, about the whole Jewels of Thought, J for Justice thing. We're going to talk about that for a minute. Mel, and she was reading this, and a lot of people are wondering what is my stance on the whole Critical K thing, because everybody's wanting to know about the YouTube drama and the Critical K being in Jewels of Thought's chat and J for Justice and the Critical K and all this back and forth, and everybody that watches this whole fiasco is wondering where I stand in it, because I don't do the drama, but I was in all of the stuff, and everybody's just sitting there going, oh, what is going on? I love all my creators. So we're going to talk about it. What I think happened, the reading of the book, the very first chapter of the book was horrible. I think it was read very terribly. I'm going to say that point blank. Second part, I think that before it was even read on a live, I don't think it should have been read directly without it being Jewels of Thought is so wonderful. Critical K is creepy. I agree. I love Jules. I love Jules. I was upset that I wasn't able to say something for her when I was in there, because I got right off. I was in there for a while, then I got off. Anyway, I don't think it was proper for that to be read live without previewing it, especially knowing that the content in the first chapter has to deal with the Watts, okay? We all know how the Watts feel about Shanann. From the very beginning, they have not said anything praiseworthy of Shanann other than drag her in through the dirt that she's already been drugged through, you guys. It is despicable that this crap is still happening and creators are still allowing it on their channels, okay? Shanann did not harm her children. Shanann never abused her children. And it wasn't a cover-up for her abusing her children. She didn't touch those babies. She was a victim. Stop the victim bashing, you guys. It's ridiculous. And the back and forth with the he said, she said, this side, that side. Well, are you for J for Justice? Are you for Jewels for Thought? Are you for Critical K now? I don't get into the crap, y'all. I don't get into it. I don't want to be into it. Because I guarantee somebody's going to bring up my name now because I finally name dropped some names. But you guys, I just want everybody that's covering this case to have some dignity and some respect for the family that is on and watches our YouTubes, okay? For Frank Rusek to be on there and to say bullcrap, you know, this is bullcrap about my family, it means he was triggered because he didn't think it should have been allowed for a person to be on there live without at least previewing the first chapter of the book. And if you didn't know that the first chapter of the book was going to be read, then I would have stopped it and said, hey, listen, I haven't read the first chapter, and out of respect for the family, I need to read this before we go live because I don't know what's going to be said. That's what I would have done, especially with something as sensitive as this case is. This case is so sensitive, and especially to the family. Especially anything implying that Shanann hurt her babies. Chris now admits twice that he tried to make her miscarry her child. How sick and twisted in the head do you have to be? And you know, everybody wants to say, well, the book on Cindy Watts that she's writing is all about, you know, Chris and his family and his life growing up. And there's a couple of chapters on Chris and how he was as a child. Well, whoop-de-freaking-do. I'll turn it back over to the rain, you guys. Look at that. It's raining. It's so pretty. It's a very nice, calm rain, too. But you guys, it is so disrespectful that we know that Frank Rusek and both Frank, Senior and Junior, and probably Shanann's mom have a YouTube, okay? And if they have a YouTube, we know about the whole Nutgate thing. We know the Watts have a YouTube as well. We know Nicole Kessinger probably has a YouTube as well. We know a lot of these people watch YouTube. There's a lot of people on this platform with the true crime and with the Chris Watts case. With that being said, I've never flip-flopped against Shanann. I've said Shanann has kept order in her family. I said she wanted to create this home and she was trying to have order, okay? She was a great mom. She cooked for her family. She cleaned for her family. She took care of her babies. They are, you guys. For them to have to constantly be on YouTube and have to deal with all the new videos going out on the Watts case. And I understand that I'm a small channel. I'm a very small channel. But I've always advocated for Shanann. I always have advocated for Shanann. And this bullcrap with all these creators going around and he said, she said, well, she was in my chat saying this and she said this in my chat and she said this in my chat. I remember Molly Golightly made some videos for acknowledge them. The only reason why I'm bringing this up, you guys, is because Frank Rushek was in that chat and he was upset because, you know, and that's why everybody is so upset. That is why I believe everybody is upset about what happened with Jade for Justice channel. I believe that it was, you should have read it before. And then, so you guys, I'm sorry for getting into the mix. I just wish everybody would go along and respect the family. And respect and know that Shanann had nothing to do with harming her children. Chris did this. Yes, Chris did this. But I believe other people were involved as well. I believe Nicole Kessinger was involved 100%. I believe everybody that sits there and says, oh, Chris would do anything for anybody. And he would do so for Nicole Kessinger as well. So you guys, go check out Zav Girl's channel, especially her new video that she's got up regarding the truck and the red car. Could that possibly be Jamie Watts' car? Why isn't anybody coming out in the media making a YouTube video about their side of the story? You know, if nobody wants a platform, YouTube is a free platform to speak. You know, it is a place where you can get your voice out there. Somebody will watch your video, it'll get viral, something will happen. You'll if it's with the Watts case, most likely it'll grab some attention. Especially if you're with the Watts family. So my question for the Watts family is to Ronnie Watts. Why did you not have any emotion when you were in the interrogation room with Chris, when you supposedly found out that your children, your grandchildren were in oil vats? Why did you just sit there like a dumb idiot on a log? Yeah. There's so many unanswered questions with this case, y'all. So many unanswered. And show respect to the family. And if, you know, does anybody know if Sandy, for Shanann growing up, has anybody ever wondered about that? I mean, if Cindy can have the platform to write a freaking book, shouldn't Sandy have the platform to write a book? Shouldn't she be able to? Shouldn't she go and put her word out there? I think if the Rusheks want to have a platform to speak on, that they should speak on it, you guys. What, are you getting sick of me talking and rambling? He's over there going, I hear you. They can hear you too over there.
No, I'm looking at this bass ate a snake. Look at that. Ugh. That's awesome. Why? That's one less snake you got to worry about. If I get laid off from the oil field, I'm starting a bull snake farm.
No, you're not.
I've done talked about it. I'll start a frog museum of frogs and human poses, where I'll start a badger domestication company. Call it Badgers Worldwide.
Jules of thought, should I be worried? You know what I mean when I say that, alright? You know what I mean. All the people that know Jules know what I mean when I say that. You and your badger farm. A badger so too. I don't, who's getting the money for it? Somebody's profiting. I heard from the Cheryl Lamb book that from those text messages that were supposedly text messages, or now they're saying that they weren't really the text messages. I'm gonna go get Betty.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get Betty, y'all. You wanna drive with us? So, yeah, now that people are saying that they weren't really validated text messages, that they were all fake and all this other stuff. I don't know, you guys. I think more people were involved for sure, though. Talk to you guys soon. You guys stay safe out there. Careful. Lock your doors at night. You guys have a great night.